Listen to me today. You are not a prisoner of your emotions. The battle is not against your feelings, but how you handle them. Yes, life will bring storms, challenges, and moments that will stir up every emotion you have ever known. But you cannot let your feelings dictate your destiny. You must recognize that emotions are like waves on the ocean. They rise, they fall, but they do not last forever unless you let them. It's time to stop being a slave to how you feel in the moment. I know it's hard. I know it's tempting to give in to anger, fear, or frustration, but I need you to hear me. Your emotions are temporary. You don't have to let them define you. Emotions are powerful, and they can sweep over us in waves, overwhelming us if we're not careful. At times, it may feel like our emotions define us, that our feelings in the moment are permanent, and that we are trapped by the power they hold. But here's the truth you need to understand: emotions are temporary. They come and go, and they don't last forever unless we allow them to. The moment we realize that emotions are fleeting, we gain control over how we respond to them. Think about the last time you experienced a strong emotion, whether it was anger, sadness, joy, or frustration. In that moment, it may have felt like that emotion was all-consuming, as if it was going to last forever. But if you reflect on it now, you'll realize that the intensity of that feeling eventually faded. That moment passed, and you were left standing unaffected by it. This is the power of understanding that emotions are temporary. They are not who you are. They are not your identity, and they do not define your worth or your path. They are simply signals, brief reactions to the situations we face. Emotions serve as a warning system, letting us know that something is happening inside of us. They alert us to pain, to joy, to injustice, or to desire. However, the mistake many of us make is treating those emotions as they are permanent states. We believe that because we feel something strongly, it must be an unchangeable truth. But feelings, no matter how intense, are not truths, they are responses. They are responses, they are experiences, not destinations. Just because you feel angry right now doesn't mean that anger is your truth. Just because you feel overwhelmed doesn't mean you're weak. Emotions are simply a response to the moment you are living in. It's important to remind yourself that emotions are not lasting. They don't define your future, your purpose, or your potential. Think about how many times in your life you faced challenges or obstacles that seemed impossible to overcome. In those moments, you may have felt defeated, discouraged, or anxious, but as time went on, you found that those feelings shifted. You found strength you didn't know you had. You began to adapt, to rise above the situation. What you once thought was permanent became a fleeting moment in your journey. And that's exactly how emotions work. They come, they overwhelm you, and they fade away. When you recognize the temporary nature of emotions, it gives you the freedom to not be controlled by them. If you are feeling sad, angry, or frustrated, acknowledge the feeling, but do not allow it to take root in your life. You don't have to stay in that state. You don't have to let it dictate your actions, your decisions, or your attitude. You can choose how you respond to it. The key is to remember that your emotions are not who you are. They are simply passing clouds in the sky of your life. You are the sky itself. You are bigger than your emotions. You can rise above them and let them pass through you without letting them control you. In order to truly master your emotions, it's crucial to realize that you have the ability to control them. Emotions may arise, but you can choose how to engage with them. You have the power to pause, to reflect, and to determine how to respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals. Just because an emotion is present does not mean you have to act on it. You can acknowledge the feeling, sit with it for a moment, and then make a conscious decision about how to move forward. The freedom comes from knowing that emotions are not permanent. They are not something to fear or run from. They are simply temporary visitors that come to teach you something about yourself or about the world around you. When you learn to accept their temporary nature, you no longer fear them. Instead, you welcome them, understand them, and allow them to pass through, knowing that they won't last forever. So the next time you find yourself overwhelmed by an emotion, take a deep breath and remind yourself this too shall pass. It's just a moment, and you are bigger than any feeling you might face. Allow yourself to feel, but don't let that feeling control you. Embrace the truth that emotions are temporary, and in doing so, you take back the power to shape your life and your destiny. Emotional intelligence is the foundation of mastering your emotions. It's the ability to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions in a healthy and productive way. It's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. Emotional intelligence allows you to fully experience your emotions without letting them control you. It helps you to navigate life's ups and downs with balance, clarity, and wisdom. It gives you the ability to understand what's happening inside of you and respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals instead of reacting impulsively and regretfully. To begin, emotional intelligence starts with self-awareness. This is the first step in understanding your emotions. Self-awareness means being in tune with your emotional state at any given moment. It's recognizing when you're feeling stressed, frustrated, happy, or excited. It means checking in with yourself, understanding what's going on inside, and not ignoring or brushing off your feelings. When you have self-awareness, you can take a step back and identify what triggers certain emotions. For example, if you feel anger rising within you, you can pause and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What happened just now that made me feel angry? By becoming aware of your emotional state, you gain clarity about what is going on inside of you. This understanding helps you to not be ruled by your emotions, but to make conscious decisions about how to act. Once you develop self-awareness, the next aspect of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. This is the ability to manage and control your emotions in a way that doesn't let them dictate your behavior. It's about being in the driver's seat instead of letting your emotions take the wheel. Self-regulation means you are able to pause and reflect before responding to a situation rather than acting out of impulse. It's about controlling your emotional reactions rather than letting them control you. When you develop the ability to regulate your emotions, you can face challenges with calmness, patience, and reason. Instead of reacting with anger or frustration, you can take a moment to breathe and respond with thoughtfulness and intention. One of the most powerful aspects of emotional intelligence is empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It allows you to step outside of your own emotions and see the world from someone else's perspective. Empathy helps you connect with others on a deeper level and understand why they may be feeling the way they do. When you empathize with others, you are less likely to react defensively or judge them. Instead, you are able to respond with compassion and understanding. Empathy is a key component of emotional intelligence because it helps build healthy, supportive relationships and fosters emotional connection. It's through empathy that you are able to create a sense of emotional safety for yourself and for others. Another crucial aspect of emotional intelligence is motivation. Motivating yourself and others is a skill that can only be developed when you understand your emotions and know how to harness them. Emotional intelligence gives you the ability to tap into your inner drive, to stay focused on your goals, and to maintain a positive attitude even in the face of adversity. When you are emotionally intelligent, you don't allow negative emotions like doubt or fear to hold you back. Instead, you use those emotions as fuel to propel yourself forward. Motivation is about understanding your emotional needs, knowing what inspires you, and staying connected to your purpose. It's about using your emotions to drive action, rather than letting them stop you in your tracks. Finally, emotional intelligence involves social skills, the ability to build and maintain positive relationships with others. This is where emotional intelligence plays a pivotal role in your ability to interact with the world. Good social skills are essential for navigating conflicts, communicating effectively, and creating strong bonds with others. When you understand your own emotions and can regulate them, you are better able to connect with others in a meaningful way. You are more likely to listen actively, communicate clearly, and respond appropriately to the needs and emotions of those around you. This leads to healthier, more productive relationships, both personally and professionally. Developing emotional intelligence takes time, practice, and commitment. It is a lifelong journey of self-awareness, self-regulation, empathy, motivation, and building meaningful relationships. But the rewards of emotional intelligence are immeasurable. It allows you to navigate life's challenges with greater ease, connect with others on a deeper level, and maintain a sense of calm and control, even in the most difficult circumstances. When you become emotionally intelligent, you unlock the power to shape your life in a way that reflects your true potential. You realize that your emotions are tools, not obstacles, and you learn to use them to your advantage, leading a more balanced, fulfilled, and successful life. Emotional discipline is one of the most essential skills you can develop in your journey to mastering your emotions. It is not about denying your feelings or pretending they don't exist. Rather, it's about exercising control over them, making sure that your emotions do not dictate your actions, decisions, or interactions. True emotional discipline means that you are able to pause, reflect, and choose how to respond, even when your emotions are intense and seem overwhelming. This skill is what separates those who react impulsively from those who act with wisdom, thoughtfulness, and composure. The challenge for many of us is that when emotions rise up, whether it's anger, frustration, anxiety, or excitement, our instinct is often to react immediately. We may snap at someone, raise our voices, or act in ways that later we regret. We believe that giving in to our feelings is the natural thing to do, but this is where emotional discipline comes in. Instead of giving in to the urge to act on every emotional impulse, emotional discipline requires us to take a step back, breathe, and assess the situation before we respond. It's about understanding that just because we feel something strongly in a moment doesn't mean we have to act on it. This pause gives us the space we need to choose a response that reflects our values, our long-term goals, and the way we truly want to show up in the world. The power of emotional discipline is not just in suppressing or ignoring emotions, but in directing them in a way that serves us. For example, when you feel anger rising within you, emotional discipline allows you to acknowledge that anger, understand why it's there, and then choose how to express it constructively. Instead of lashing out or holding it in, you might take a moment to express your feelings calmly, or use that anger as motivation to take positive action. Similarly, when you feel overwhelmed by sadness, emotional discipline gives you the ability to sit with that emotion, process it, and move through it rather than letting it consume you. It allows you to recognize that while sadness is a natural emotion, it doesn't have to define your day or your life. You can feel the sadness, accept it, and then decide how you want to move forward. It's important to recognize that emotional discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about progress. It's a practice that takes time and commitment. The more you practice emotional discipline, the more natural it becomes. Over time, you'll develop the ability to respond to difficult situations with greater calmness, patience, and clarity. You'll learn to recognize the triggers that set off strong emotional reactions and begin to develop strategies for dealing with them in a healthy way. The goal is not to completely eliminate emotions, but to develop the capacity to manage them so that they no longer have the power to derail your life or cloud your judgment. Emotional discipline also involves understanding that emotions are not inherently good or bad. They are simply part of the human experience. It's how we react to those emotions that determine their impact on our lives. For example, fear can either paralyze us or motivate us to take action. Anxiety can either stop us in our tracks or drive us to prepare and act with intention. When we discipline our emotions, we have the power to channel them into something positive. Instead of letting fear control us, we can use it to fuel our determination to succeed. Instead of letting stress overwhelm us, we can use it as a signal that we need to slow down and reassess our priorities. Emotional discipline teaches us that no emotion is inherently destructive. It's our reaction to it that determines its effect on our lives. Another key aspect of emotional discipline is resilience, the ability to bounce back from challenges, setbacks, and disappointments. Life is full of unexpected twists, and no one is immune to pain, loss, or adversity. What separates those who thrive from those who merely survive is the ability to maintain emotional discipline in the face of difficulty. Resilience doesn't mean that you won't experience negative emotions. It means that you have the inner strength to move through them without being consumed by them. It's the ability to endure hardships without losing your composure or sense of purpose. Emotional discipline helps you to stay grounded during tough times, to focus on solutions rather than dwelling on problems, and to maintain a positive mindset even when things aren't going as planned. Lastly, emotional discipline is closely linked to personal growth. The more you practice controlling your emotions, the more you grow in your ability to navigate life with wisdom, self-awareness, and confidence. When you become disciplined in your emotional responses, you become less reactive to external circumstances and more proactive in shaping your own life. You stop letting your emotions dictate your decisions, and instead you make decisions based on your long-term vision, your values, and your goals. Emotional discipline allows you to respond to life with intention rather than being tossed around by the storms of emotion. In conclusion, emotional discipline is about taking control of your emotional world, not by suppressing it, but by managing it with wisdom and intentionality. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose how you respond to life's challenges, and that your emotions, while important, do not need to define your actions. Emotional discipline is a skill that, when mastered, can bring a profound sense of peace, clarity, and strength into your life. It empowers you to move through life's ups and downs with grace, resilience, and a deep sense of self-control. You are in control of your emotions. This might sound like a simple statement, but it holds immense power when you truly internalize it. Too often, we let external circumstances, other people, and even our own feelings dictate how we react and what we do. We act as though we are slaves to our emotions, as if they are the masters and we have no say in the matter. But here's the truth: you are the one in charge. Your emotions do not have to control you. You have the ability to shape how you experience and express your emotions. It's time to reclaim that power and realize that, in the end, it is not your emotions that define you, but how you choose to manage them. The first step in realizing that you are in control of your emotions is understanding that emotions themselves are neutral. They are not good or bad in and of themselves. They are simply responses to stimuli in your environment. They are like visitors. Sometimes they show up uninvited, but they don't have to stay. Emotions are messages that something is happening inside you or around you, but it's your response to them that determines their effect. When you recognize that you are the one who ultimately decides how to respond to a feeling, you gain control. You have the power to choose whether to react with anger, frustration, calm, or patience. The ability to choose your response is where your strength lies. No matter how intense or overwhelming an emotion may seem in the moment, you always have the ability to pause, reflect, and decide how you will respond. This is the essence of emotional control. Another aspect of being in control of your emotions is taking responsibility for them. Too often, we blame our emotions on external circumstances or other people. I'm angry because of what they said to me, or I feel sad because this happened. While it's true that events and interactions can trigger emotions, we are ultimately responsible for how we process and handle those emotions. The moment you shift your mindset from being a victim of your emotions to being a steward of your emotions, you take back your power. You stop letting others or external situations have control over your emotional state. You recognize that regardless of what happens, you still have the ability to choose your emotional response. This is not about suppressing feelings or denying them. Rather, it's about owning your emotions and understanding that you have the power to decide what to do with them. By taking responsibility for your emotions, you can break free from the cycle of reacting impulsively and instead respond with purpose and clarity. The idea that you are in control of your emotions is also about developing emotional resilience. Life is full of challenges, and not every experience will be easy or pleasant. You will face disappointment, frustration, heartbreak, and loss. These emotions are a natural part of life, and no one is exempt from experiencing them. But the key is in how you bounce back. Emotional resilience means that while you may experience intense emotions, you don't let them define you. You don't let them knock you off course or prevent you from moving forward. Instead, you find ways to process your emotions, learn from them, and continue to push ahead. When you realize that you are in control of your emotions, you are better equipped to handle adversity with strength and clarity. You don't let difficult emotions take away your power or hold you hostage. Instead, you use them to fuel your growth, your healing, and your journey toward a better future. Being in control of your emotions also requires the ability to self-regulate. Self-regulation doesn't mean that you never feel upset, angry, or sad. It means that you are able to manage those emotions in a healthy way. It's about not letting your emotions run wild or dictate impulsive actions. Emotional self-regulation is what allows you to make decisions based on your long-term goals and values rather than reacting out of immediate emotion. For example, if you're feeling frustrated or angry at someone, self-regulation helps you to pause and think before responding, allowing you to express your feelings calmly and thoughtfully rather than lashing out. It's the ability to assess the situation and then choose an appropriate course of action, not driven by the heat of the moment, but by rational thought and emotional wisdom. When you develop self-regulation, you become more intentional in your actions and less likely to make decisions that you'll regret later. You learn to be proactive in managing your emotional state, and you realize that you have the power to steer your own emotional responses. Another critical component of emotional control is the understanding that your emotions do not define who you are. Too many people believe that because they feel a certain way, it means that is who they are. If you're angry, it's easy to think, I am an angry person. If you're feeling sad, it's easy to believe, I am a sad person, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Emotions are temporary, ever-changing states. They do not define your identity, and they are not a reflection of your entire being. You are not your emotions, you are the one who experiences them. This realization is incredibly liberating because it allows you to separate your true self from your feelings. You can experience anger without becoming angry, sadness without being defined by sadness, and frustration without letting it shape your identity. By recognizing that your emotions do not define you, you take away their power over you and regain control. Ultimately, being in control of your emotions is about understanding that you are the master of your emotional landscape. Your emotions are not your enemy, they are a natural part of who you are. But it is up to you to decide how to manage them. You have the power to decide when to let an emotion guide you and when to let it pass. You are in control of how you express your emotions and how they shape your actions. The more you understand and practice this control, the more you will find yourself navigating life with greater peace, resilience, and clarity. Your emotions may come and go, but you remain steady in your ability to manage them, make decisions based on what is best for you in the long run. It's time to step into the power of being in control of your emotions, and in doing so, step into the life you are truly meant to live. Emotions are tools that we can use to create positive change, make better decisions, and strengthen our relationships. When we understand this fundamental truth, we shift from being victims of our emotions to becoming masters of them. It is through emotional intelligence that we learn to use our emotions as sources of power, insight, and motivation. Emotions are not something to be feared or avoided. They are gifts that reveal deeper truths about ourselves, our desires, and the world around us. The key is to recognize that emotions, when managed correctly, can be the driving force behind our personal growth and success. One of the most powerful ways to use emotions as tools is by recognizing them as signals. Every emotion, whether positive or negative, serves as a message. For example, when you feel fear, it might be warning you to assess a situation more carefully or encouraging you to take precautions. On the other hand, when you feel joy, it is a sign that you are aligned with your values, or that something meaningful is happening in your life. By paying attention to these emotional signals, you can learn to understand yourself better and make more informed decisions. Emotions act as guides, helping us navigate the complexity of life. The trick is not to be overwhelmed by them, but to take a step back and interpret what they are telling us. For example, imagine you are feeling anger towards someone who has wronged you. Instead of letting that anger control your actions, perhaps by lashing out or holding on to grudges, try to dig deeper. Ask yourself, what is this anger teaching me? Perhaps it's showing you that a boundary has been crossed, or that there is an unmet need that requires attention. When you use your anger as a tool for self-reflection, you can make more informed decisions about how to respond. You can either choose to address the situation calmly, communicate your needs, or in some cases walk away if it's in your best interest. The anger itself is not bad. It's simply a tool that, if understood and channeled properly, can lead to a positive outcome. Similarly, fear can be an incredibly useful tool. Fear is often viewed negatively as something to be avoided or suppressed. However, fear can be a powerful motivator. It's often a sign that we are stepping outside of our comfort zones, trying something new, or facing the unknown. Instead of allowing fear to paralyze you, you can use it to fuel your determination. By acknowledging your fear and pushing forward despite it, you demonstrate resilience and strength. Fear can be a reminder to prepare, to be cautious, or to ensure that you're not acting recklessly. It's when we ignore fear or let it control us that it becomes a problem. But when we understand it and use it appropriately, fear becomes a tool that helps us grow, take calculated risks, and achieve our goals. Joy, on the other hand, serves as a reminder that we are on the right path. It is a sign that our actions, thoughts, and decisions are aligned with our core values. Joy can be a tool for self-validation. It shows us that we are living authentically, doing what we love, and experiencing moments of fulfillment. When you recognize joy as a tool, you begin to seek out those activities, people, and experiences that bring you happiness and satisfaction. You understand that joy is not a fluke or something that happens by chance, but a result of consciously aligning your actions with your values and desires. When you use joy as a tool, it becomes a guide for creating more of what you want in your life. It signals to you that you are headed in the right direction, and it motivates you to continue pursuing your passions and dreams. Furthermore, emotions help us connect with others. Empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, is rooted in emotional intelligence. By becoming more aware of our own emotions and how they influence our behavior, we become better able to connect with the emotions of others. This deepens our relationships and allows us to communicate more effectively. Emotional tools such as empathy help us navigate interpersonal conflicts, foster trust, and create more meaningful connections. When we understand our own emotional responses, we can better understand others, allowing us to respond with compassion and care. Empathy transforms emotions from something purely personal into a bridge that connects us with the experiences and feelings of others, creating deeper bonds and fostering harmony in our relationships. The ability to use emotions as tools also contributes to our mental and physical health. When we are in tune with our emotions and know how to express them constructively, we prevent the buildup of emotional stress, anxiety, or resentment. Bottling up emotions or pretending they don't exist leads to negative outcomes, physical tension, exhaustion, and even illness. But when we allow ourselves to feel and express our emotions in healthy ways, we create space for healing and well-being. For example, crying when you are sad or talking about your frustrations with a trusted friend is not a sign of weakness. It is a healthy way to process and release pent-up emotions. Emotional expression, when done in a safe and healthy way, is a powerful tool for emotional and physical release, promoting overall health and balance.
Lastly, using emotions as tools fosters personal growth. Every time you confront a challenging emotion, whether it's sadness, frustration, or anger, you have an opportunity to learn something new about yourself.
Emotions reveal your values, fears, desires, and boundaries. By exploring your emotions, you can gain insight into who you are and what truly matters to you. Each emotional experience is an opportunity for growth, understanding, and self-improvement. The more you practice using your emotions as tools, the more equipped you become to handle life's challenges with grace and confidence. In conclusion, emotions are not our enemies. They are powerful allies that, when understood and managed properly, can guide us toward a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. They are tools that, when used with wisdom, can help us navigate challenges, build stronger relationships, improve our well-being, and achieve personal growth. The key is to learn to see emotions not as obstacles, but as opportunities to learn, to grow, and to live with greater awareness and intention. Embrace your emotions, use them as tools, and watch your life transform. Mastering your emotions is not a skill that you achieve overnight. It is a lifelong process, a journey that requires dedication, self-awareness, and constant practice. The truth is, emotional mastery is not about suppressing or ignoring your feelings. It's about developing the ability to manage them effectively. It is about learning how to respond to life's challenges with wisdom rather than reacting impulsively. And it's about creating a sense of peace within yourself, no matter the external circumstances. To truly master your emotions, you must commit to consistent growth, self-reflection, and self-discipline. Only by making this commitment can you begin to take control of your emotional landscape. The first aspect of mastering your emotions is self-awareness. Before you can manage your emotions, you must first become aware of them. Too many people go through life unaware of the emotions that are driving their behavior. They may feel angry, sad, anxious, or happy, but they do not stop to examine why they feel that way or how their emotions are influencing their actions. This lack of awareness can lead to impulsive decisions, unhealthy reactions, and strained relationships and straits. To master your emotions, you must learn to recognize them as they arise. Pay attention to how you feel in different situations and take note of your emotional triggers. When you experience strong emotions, pause for a moment and ask yourself why you're feeling this way. Are there deeper beliefs or unmet needs driving your emotions? Are you reacting to a past experience or a fear of the future? By developing this self-awareness, you gain insight into the root causes of your emotions, and you are better equipped to manage them consciously. Self-awareness also allows you to distinguish between emotions that are useful and emotions that are not serving you. Not every emotion is beneficial, and not every emotional reaction is helpful in every situation. For example, anxiety can be useful when it motivates you to prepare for an important event, but if it paralyzes you and prevents you from taking action, it becomes a hindrance. Anger can be a powerful force for setting boundaries, but if it leads to destructive behavior or hurts others, it is no longer helpful. When you are self-aware, you can evaluate your emotions and decide whether they are leading you toward positive outcomes or pulling you into negative patterns. This awareness gives you the power to choose how you respond to your emotions rather than allowing them to control you. Once you develop self-awareness, the next step is to build emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is the ability to manage your emotional responses in a healthy way without allowing your emotions to dictate your actions. This does not mean that you suppress your emotions or ignore them. Instead, it means that you learn to acknowledge your emotions, understand them, and express them in ways that are constructive and aligned with your values. For example, if you feel angry, emotional regulation helps you to choose whether to express that anger calmly and assertively or to take a step back and process your feelings before responding. It allows you to remain composed and intentional in your actions, even in the face of intense emotions. Building emotional regulation requires practice. One effective method is to develop mindfulness. Mindfulness involves staying present and aware of your thoughts and feelings without judgment. It helps you to observe your emotions without being overwhelmed by them. When you practice mindfulness, you can identify your emotional state in real time, which enables you to choose how to respond. Whether you are feeling anxious before a presentation or frustrated with someone's behavior, mindfulness gives you the space to pause, breathe, and choose a thoughtful response. The more you practice mindfulness, the more natural emotional regulation becomes, allowing you to respond to life's challenges with greater calmness and clarity. Another key component of emotional mastery is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity and maintain emotional balance in the face of challenges. Life is unpredictable, and there will be times when things don't go according to plan. You may face setbacks, disappointments, or even losses. In these moments, your emotions will likely be intense, whether it's grief, frustration, or fear. But it's your resilience that determines how quickly you recover from these emotions and how effectively you move forward. Resilience is not about avoiding difficult emotions. It's about learning how to process them in a healthy way and then using them to fuel your growth. Resilience is a skill that can be developed over time. One way to build resilience is by embracing challenges rather than avoiding them. When you face difficulties head on, you build emotional strength and develop a greater sense of self-confidence. Each time you overcome a challenge, you reinforce your belief in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. You also become more skilled at managing the emotional responses that arise in difficult situations. Instead of allowing negative emotions to derail you, you learn to harness them and turn them into opportunities for growth. This sense of emotional strength and adaptability is key to mastering your emotions. Emotional mastery also involves cultivating a positive mindset. Your thoughts directly influence your emotions, and by changing the way you think, you can shift your emotional state. When you consistently focus on positive thoughts, gratitude, and solutions rather than problems, you create a mindset that fosters emotional well-being. A positive mindset does not mean ignoring challenges or pretending that everything is perfect. It means maintaining a hopeful outlook even in the face of adversity. It means choosing to focus on what you can control rather than dwelling on what you can't. This mindset shift helps you to manage your emotions in a more constructive way, allowing you to navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease. Finally, mastering your emotions requires patience. Emotional mastery is not something that happens overnight. It is a gradual process that requires continuous practice and self-reflection. There will be times when you make mistakes, when your emotions get the best of you, or when you react in ways you regret. But instead of beating yourself up or giving up, it's important to be kind to yourself and use these moments as opportunities for growth. The path to emotional mastery is not linear, but with persistence, you will continue to improve and develop the emotional intelligence needed to lead a balanced, fulfilling life. In conclusion, mastering your emotions is a lifelong process that requires self-awareness, emotional regulation, resilience, a positive mindset, and patience. By committing to this journey, you can gain greater control over your emotional landscape, allowing you to respond to life's challenges with wisdom, clarity, and composure. Emotional mastery empowers you to live more intentionally, make better decisions, and create the life you desire. In conclusion, the power to control and master your emotions lies within you. Your emotions are not your enemies, they are valuable signals, tools for self-awareness, and powerful sources of guidance. When you understand that your emotional responses are within your control, you unlock the ability to shape your life intentionally regardless of the circumstances. By cultivating self-awareness, building emotional regulation, and embracing resilience, you take the reins of your emotional life. You become the master of your emotional landscape, not a prisoner to fleeting feelings or reactive impulses. Emotional mastery requires patience, practice, and commitment. It's a lifelong journey, one that is built on learning from both successes and setbacks. Each time you choose to respond rather than react, each time you pause to reflect, you are strengthening your emotional resilience. You are teaching yourself that you are capable of navigating even the most difficult emotions with grace and wisdom. You can turn anger into insight, fear into courage, and frustration into growth. Your emotions do not define you, but how you manage them determines the course of your life. So take control. Understand that your emotions are powerful tools for your personal transformation. By mastering them, you unlock the true potential of your mind, your heart, and your soul. The journey may not always be easy, but it is always worth it. Keep moving forward, one step at a time, with the assurance that emotional mastery is within your reach. As you grow in this mastery, you will find peace, clarity, and strength in every aspect of your life. No excuses. The journey toward mastering your emotions is not one that you can delay, avoid, or make excuses for. Every single day, you are faced with the choice to either control your emotions or let them control you. The power to shape your emotional life is in your hands, and it's up to you to take responsibility for it. No one else can do this for you. The challenges you face, the difficult emotions you experience, and the situations that test you, they are not obstacles, they are opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to learn, and to become the best version of yourself. The truth is, no matter what life throws at you, your response is always your choice. You can choose to be overwhelmed by your emotions, letting them dictate your actions, or you can choose to rise above them, mastering them and using them as tools for growth. There are no shortcuts, no quick fixes, no excuses. It takes commitment, it takes discipline, and it takes practice. But the rewards are immeasurable. When you master your emotions, you are no longer at the mercy of your circumstances. You become the one in control. So stop waiting for the right time to take charge of your emotional life. Stop making excuses for why you can't handle your emotions better or why you're too overwhelmed to try. The time is now. The responsibility is yours. If you want to change your life, start by changing how you handle your emotions. Because at the end of the day, mastering your emotions is the key to mastering your life. And that, my friend, is a power you cannot afford to ignore.
Listen to me. Today you are not person you're feeling, but how you handle them. Yes, life will bring storms, challenge, and moments that will set up every emotions you have, every knowledge, but you can't let your for feelings discard you, destroying you. Must realizing that emotions are like waves on the oceans. They reach, they fail, but they do not let forever. Unless you let them, it's time to stop being yourself to how you feel in the moment. I know it's hard. I know it's tempting to give in to anger, fear, or fusions, but I need you to hear me. Your emotions are temporarily. You didn't have let down powerful. You are them can sweep over you waves overwhelms us if you not careful at time. It may feel like over emotions defends us that our feelings in the moment are present. Power the holds